The world is a beautiful place to live. The hard part is getting your start there. Jimmy Bowskill had his start jamming in a bar with Jeff Healey when he was 10 years old.
That's what's wild, you know. It's awesome he invited me in, you know. It was an honor, really. It was incredible.
Jim Bowskill first started playing guitar at age 10.
I don't know, I just kind of went head first, you know. I just fell in love with the guitar.
By 11, he was jamming with Jeff Healey.
I'd only been playing for a year, and somebody told me that Jeff Healey had an open mic on Thursdays at the old Healey's down Queen and Bathurst, and my dad phoned them up. He asked, you know, can I bring my son out to the open mic? It's, you know, he's 11, but and they said, well, actually, it's not an open mic. It's a special guest kind of night, you know, and we can't have 11-year-olds in our club.
Jim managed to convince his dad to take him anyways.
I figured Jeff had to come through the front door, and I was, you know, quite a big fan. And I ended up busking out front for probably an hour. And all the musicians that were playing in the band came in, and they told Jeff that there's some kid busking out front, you know, and he came out and said hey, and he invited me into a club later for a tune. And that was my first, you know, real time on stage, and that was pretty awesome for me. that was an exciting moment for sure.
Within one set, Jimmy Bowskill's career was launched into hyperspeed.
You only live but once, and when you're dead, you don't. So let me do it.
That's what's wild, you know. It's awesome that he came out and said, hey, it's awesome he invited me in, you know. It was an honor, really. It was incredible. Chuck Jackson was the special guest that night from Downchild, and he hooked me up with a few shows, you know, and Alec Fraser was the bass player that night, and he ended up doing my first 2 records and gave me some recording time based on that night. So that night was huge for me, you know. It was that's where I got my start, really.
While his friends were busy playing hockey and hanging out, Jim launched the Jimmy Bowskill Band and was sharing the stage with the likes of Buddy Guy and Jeff Beck.
It was a bit weird that way, I guess, you know. Based on being a guitar player and a musician, I guess it's just, I've always had friends that are older than me, you know.
He soon figured if he was going to share the stage with music icons, it was time to upgrade his guitar.
It's a '68 Les Paul Custom, and I traded an old Telly, an Epiphone 335, and I traded an old 60s Sun amp for it. And that was a big deal. That was a lot of trading, you know, some pretty nice stuff. But I really wanted to have the Les Paul, you know, and I figured it was too good a deal to pass up. It's just a great guitar, you know. You've got a bit more weight there, and a whole different kind of sustain, you know, and and the humbuckers too are just great.
Jim mostly plays on this Les Paul or his Sunburst. but one more guitar holds a special place in his heart. Even if he can't quite explain why he and his dad decided to get them made.
I don't know, I think Billy Gibbons did it a long time ago, you know, so just looks cool. Cowhide with hair, that's all tooled leather. We had the bodies made, we made 2 of them. We had the bodies made in the States, a little bit thinner, and then we sent them to a guy in Nashville that did all the leather work, and he did an awesome job.
Jim's relationship with his dad has been monumental at home and in his musical career. After all, not every dad would take their 11-year-old to a bar to get their big break.
It's been amazing. We've brought this up right from the start. We both, you know, he's been the manager, and we both kind of done it together that way right from the start. All that aside, it's just been a blast having him there for all this stuff, you know, it's really cool.
Jim may have had help early on from his dad and Jeff Healey, but at 21 years old, he is still dominating the stage. Some wonder if such a young kid can really own the hard knocks played in the blues.
It's not so much of pay your dues and, you know, you got to be an old guy to play the blues. You don't, I guess, as long as you understand it and you can feel it, then you can play it.
I guess it comes as no surprise that many of his fans and mentors now look to Jim to carry the torch when it comes to keeping the blues relevant.
Blues is going to be alive no matter what, you know, and it's always going to be around, and it's always going to be present in all kinds of music, you know, and I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, you know, no pressure.